Hey viewers, this is Sam Yaffa.
And this is Dmitry, and this is another episode of Triton Funds.
On today's episode, we are going to talk about some investment basics and how the average individual can invest in the stock market.
Now you may think that investing into the stock market is this big difficult thing, but it's not difficult at all. You can get started by yourself with some easy platforms such as Robinhood, which is commission free, Acorn, or even E-Trade.
When you create an account on any of these platforms, it is going to ask you what account you want to create. The general account for the average individual is called a brokerage account. Now I will show you what a brokerage account enables you to do and how to make an order on the stock market. So here we have is E-Trade's platform. Now after you get through the account creation process, you will be able to search stocks individually and stocks that you want to buy. Here we have Apple. Now Apple is currently trading at $190 a share. Now when you buy stocks, you only have as much money in your account in order to buy X amount of stocks. For instance, if I had $200 in my E-Trade account, I would be able to buy 1 share of Apple stock. So buying a stock is actually very simple. Here you have your tools, your buy, and your sell. So let's go ahead and see if I wanted to buy Apple stock. So it's actually a lot more simpler than you probably think. So here we have the order screen for buying Apple stock. Now if I wanted to, I could switch this to any type of stock. Here putting in the stock ticker symbol of a specific company, but we are buying Apple stock. The action is what you are doing. Are you buying or are you selling it? We could get to these in a later video. Because in my ideal or my made-up situation, I only have $200, so I would go ahead and put, I want 1 share of Apple stock. As you see, automatically it comes up. It's going to cost me a $4.95 commission. Now, we mentioned earlier in the video that Robinhood does not charge a commission. E-Trade, as you can see here, charges roughly $5 every trade. So if I buy a stock, it's going to charge me $5 to buy the stock. And if I sell the stock, it's going to charge me $5 to sell it. Next, it's going to bring you to price type. Now, price type, I don't know why I brought that up. Price type, you're going to see often on the other trading apps that you could do a market order. Now, I highly suggest not to do market orders and to do limit orders, and let me explain why. When you do a limit order, it is going to buy the stock or sell the stock at that specific price. So if I put in, as you can see now, $190.49, and right now the stock is trading at $190.35, it is going to execute that price now, but E-Trade automatically put that in. However, let's say I only put $190. Right now Apple is trading at $190.35, but I'm only bidding $190, not with the 35 cents. So therefore, my order will not go through. Moving along, why you do not want to do a market order, and this is very important that you always want to do the limit order and put in your price. You do not want to put in a market order, because let's say you put a market order in, and let me show you. When you put a market order, it doesn't even give you a price. So right now, it is going to go straight to the asking price. Apple right now is trading at $190.35. However, if you do a market order, it's going to force you to buy it at $190.49. Now, that's for the next 100 shares. But sometimes stocks don't have so much volume as Apple does. So sometimes you might end up buying, let's say, 1 share for $190.49. But the next share you may purchase in the order book at the stock exchange might be at $195. So it's very important that you do a limit order and put it to the price that you are willing to pay. Right now, the market price is $190.35 for Apple. Next is going to ask you the duration. Good for day means the order is good for that trading day. Good for 60 days means it's good for 60 days. Here's some other order options, however, you don't have to worry about that. But essentially, in a nutshell, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. I go here, put in the stock I want to buy. I put my action, buy. I put the quantity, how much money do I have? In my theoretical situation, I have $200. Apple's trading at 190, so I can only put one quantity in there. And yeah, they even put a calculator for you. I only have $200, and you see 1.05 shares. Press enter, it puts the 1 share in there. Next is the price type. You always want to do limit, because limit, you're able to put the price you want to buy it at. Next, your duration, because I want to buy Apple hopefully today at this price. I'm going to go ahead and put good for day. I see my $5 commission right there. I click preview. I could place the order, and boom. I went ahead and put my order in for Apple. It's open. Right now the market is closed, but when the market opens, this order will be a valid order.
Now that we showed you how to invest into the stock market, we're going to give you some tips to keep for success.
Now the first tip we want to share with you is always do your homework. What that means is don't rely on what the analysts or CNBC say. Instead, you're going to want to do your homework. What that means is I want to take you through an example in stock market history. There used to be a company called Enron that was traded on the stock market. Now if you looked at what the analysts said, they were most certainly saying Enron was a buy. However, overnight the stock had plummeted and basically went bankrupt due to some scandals within the company. Had you have simply relied on the analysts, because they most likely didn't update their stock analysis overnight, you would have went ahead and buy Enron and you would have had screwed yourself, unfortunately. So first thing you're going to want to do is do your homework. Secondly, you're going to want to find economic moats and competitive advantages with companies. Warren Buffett always says, invest in companies that you use their product every day. Because I know, for example, I have my Apple computer and I have my iPhone. Warren Buffett would suggest, invest in Apple products. And funny or not, that, Warren Buffett actually invested a lot of money in Apple earlier this year. So important tip, invest in companies that have a competitive advantage. And if you see they have an advantage in your life, you may want to consider investing in them. Next is you're going to want to hold the stock for the long haul. Unfortunately, day trading doesn't always end up as profitable and return as well as you think. Historically, actually, day traders do worse than the long haul investor. If you hold a stock for a long period of time, you have a lot greater chance of earning a greater return on that stock as opposed to selling it in the short run. And that leads to our fourth and final point, and know when to sell. There's a saying on the street that pigs get slaughtered and hogs get fatter. Know when to sell your stock. So when you have a good enough gain, or a gain that you believe meets your own personal goals, you're going to want to sell. Because more often than not, people see the stock go past that point that they wanted to sell at, and then the stock goes right back down past that point. So you're definitely going to want to know when to sell. And that is some tips that you can use to become a better stock investor.
And that concludes our video on how to invest into the stock market. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want you guys to leave some feedback down in the comment section. Also check out our next up and coming video of episode 2 of Stock Picks of the Week for Triton Funds. And make sure to hit that like, that subscribe.
Hit it, man, hit it.